Why build tall buildings? So, why engineers build tall buildings? Are they built them just because they felt like to build them? Alright, let's look at some of the reasons. First, demand of business near to city center. The primary gain for business of locating in a city center is proximity, or agglomeration, and this offers three main benefits to businesses locating in city centers. These are because, 1. The ability to share inputs and infrastructure, such as roads, rail and street lights. 2. The ability to recruit from a deep pool of workers with relevant skills. 3. The ability to exchange ideas and information, known as knowledge spillovers. Second, scarce of land. For instance, like in Hong Kong and Brazil. With high population and limited land area, thus, these countries need to build high building to accommodate the peoples. Next, the third reason, for corporate image and prestige. For example, with the presence of Burj Khalifa in Dubai, nowadays, has brought enormous prestige to the city. And the fourth, is the landmark of the city. The presence of tall building can increase the tourism attractions, for instance like Kuala Lumpur City Centre, Malaysia, Burj Khalifa, Dubai and a circumflex. Taipei 101, Taiwan. Modern tall buildings began in 1880s, for commercial and residential. The first is Ames Building, Chicago, USA, 1889. Since the dawn of history, man has been trying to build the tallest building, tallest tower, or tallest structure in the world. Seems to be much prestige in being home to the world's tallest building, large subcategory of towers, claiming to be the tallest hotel, tallest office building or tallest apartment building in the world. During the first 90 years of last century, the USA dominated the race for the title of the tallest building in the world, and constructed a range of famous buildings. The most famous examples are the Empire State Building, New York City, the World Trade Center, New York City, and Sears Tower, Chicago. The Empire State Building was completed in 1931, the tallest building in the world for 41 years. The World Trade Center in New York consisted of two towers, one World Trade Center and two World Trade Center. One World Trade Center was the first one to be completed in 1972. Two World Trade Center was completed in 1973. So as of 1972, the World Trade Center took over the title of the tallest building in the world, from the Empire State Building. In 1974, Chicago's Sears Tower was completed, and as of that moment, it was generally seen as the tallest building in the world. So the World Trade Center only held the title for 2 years. Sears held onto the title of the tallest building in the world for 22 years, until 1996. After the Sears Tower, which building do you think is the next tallest building? In 1996, the Petronas Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, were completed. From that moment on, a sort of media clash was unleashed. All over the world people debated about the question, which one was the tallest building in the world, Sears or Petronas? You see, Petronas creates its formidable height partly because of its huge spires on top. Sears Tower, however, has the highest occupied floors. So, some people in the press suggested that the Petronas Towers used a trick to obtain the title of the tallest building in the world. The controversy between Sears Tower and the Petronas Towers went on until 2004. In that year, 2004, the Taipei 101 Tower in Taiwan completed. It is now widely known to be the tallest building in the world. Underneath the Taipei 101 Tower, about 660 feet away from the tower, there was a fault line, hasn't been active in 45,000 years. However, in September 2002, 5 people are killed when an earthquake shakes 2 cranes loose from the building.
Dislodged construction cranes tragically take 5 lives.
Due to the controversy between the Petronas Twin Tower and Willis Sears Tower on the question about what is the tallest building in the world is become more complicated than meets the eye. For example, do we take in account spires and antennas? As we already know, Petronas Towers claimed the title of the tallest building in the world in 1998 due to the spires. As you can see in this slide, the height to spire's tip for Petronas Twin Tower is 451.9 meters, or higher than the height of the roof of Sears Tower. That is 442.1 meters. In fact, if the spires were considered measured in calculating the height, thus, the Sears Tower will end up with a total height of 527 meters. Therefore, to end this controversy, the Council on Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat made a compromise. They defined 4 categories for measuring tall buildings. 1. Height to the structural or architectural top. 2. Height to the highest occupied floor. The third is the height to the top of the roof. And the last one is height to the top of antenna. Okay, students, do you know, tall building is also classified based on its usage? Single function versus mixed use buildings. A single function tall building is defined as one where 85% or more of its total height is dedicated to a single function. A mixed use tall building contains 2 or more functions where each of the functions occupies a significant proportion of the tower's total space. Support areas, such as car parks and mechanical plant space, do not constitute mixed-use functions. And how can you differentiate between building and tower? To be considered a building, at least 50% of its height must be occupable. Telecommunications or observation towers that do not meet the 50% threshold are not eligible for inclusion on CTBUH tallest lists. Okay class, in the next lecture we will learn on structural form of tall building. Okay, students, to enhance your general knowledge on tall building and evaluate your critical thinking on the subject, here is our first self-assessment question. The self-assessment question must be submitted by the 1st of May 2020, before 5 p.m. via ECS729 Google Classroom. The same question has also been uploaded in the ECS729 Google Classroom. Good luck.